update to an update. That wasn't very good, but you know what, it's fine. So, I said I would get the update to the update to the crocodilian update when I got the alligator skull, which was actually, when was August? When was the 9th? Yeah, we got it the 9th. Now it's the 12th. I have it. I love it. There it is. On my knee and my leg. We got our beautiful U-shaped snout. Teeth that are actually sharp. This hurts. Why am I doing it? A sort of dark reddish brown or maybe reddish black color for some reason. It's just nice here. I guess that would be the socket where the neck or the spine plugs in. Nice little eyes. This was supposedly preserved, so this may be once was a head of a young alligator. So, if you're watching this, if this is, and you're watching from the heavens, I am sorry. I will take good care of your skull. I will take very good care of your head. I will give you virtual pets. I know you guys love your head scratches. Here's your chin. I will take good care of your head. Also, don't question why I'm obsessing over alligators. I love them. So, my updates to the crocodile. Well, just a few things. There is not much, but there are some things I'd like to either change or just show how they could be implemented if they were added. Specifically, the alligator. But the first thing is, so I recently got the Orinoco. I got all the skins, actually. No, this is on the private server, so that's why everything's here. Because everything's free, but if we go through every single animal... Yeah, actually, I could just prove it to you another way. You go to skin store, I got over 2,000 coins. It says, yep, I have all of them unlocked. Jaguar? Well, of course, I don't have that one, but I have all the ones you can get with, besides from the mutations and the Game Pass skins. But, yep. So for this, I'll just be randomly playing stuff, like the Orinoco. I also found out that little guy's got a water dance. It's less of the water dance and more like a little shimmy vibration of his scales, which aren't modeled in game, but in real life, that's how they would do that. Now, surprisingly, the hiss actually has 2 different bellows with it, instead of like that. Its also tail is shorter and snout is longer, with eyes he's the same with with smaller eyes, which is good. So in terms of the so the first thing is change that so that it's all along the single bellow and sort of just randomly goes through them. or however it works now, whether it cycles, though I don't think it cycles, because otherwise I don't think I could get multiple hisses or same bellow in a row. But I'll make it. But just make it the single, but only make the hiss. Have the hiss. Unless there's multiple hisses that you have, and then, like with the Dwarf Cayman. And then, well, make them cycle through on the hiss. But don't have bellows on the hiss. And then, of course, those were actual bellows. But this is... that would be more of grunting. So we changed that to grunt and add a longer one to the Black Cayman, similar to the Orinoco's. But the same sort of sound style of this guy. The regular Black Caymans. So, and then also add a grunting sound that fits with its sort of, with the Orinoco's as well, to make it fair. And also add that water dance, too. Because all crocodilians can do that. Or give the Orinoco crocodile the water dance of specs. Or just make them have that little thing. So, and then in terms of what this video mainly will be, the implementation of the alligator. So, the alligator, so colorings are, well, pretty much the same as the Black Cayman. But they are slightly different. The Black Cayman is more of a greenish black, which just appears as a black. And, well, the American alligator is more of this sort of, this, like, little bit of a kind of dark gray, or like this sort of, like, slightly lighter shade of dark gray. Sort of like this dark gray. Maybe this is more like smoky gray. I don't know. This, like, slightly darker shade of gray. Like this little bit on this little guy, which is the same as the big guys. This under beige color, these stripes being a lot more, I just realized this, but the stripes of this guy, that's actually accurate. They are much more noticeable than the big guys, which look more like the ones on the tail. That's accurate. Black Caymans are pretty much, well, like a greenish, like black with those stripes. And, well, alligators would be like this shade of gray, or maybe this gray, or dark gray. Though I think Black Caymans can also be dark gray. Though I think they're more like just like that black or more greenish black. So maybe make the alligator dark gray, this gray, and like the Black Cayman dark gray. So like darker than this one, and the alligator would be this color. The color you see in front of you. And then they have the same undertone sides, and the alligator doesn't have these stripes. Also, I wonder why they have this little color here on this. This is the Black Junior. I wonder why. Probably to prevent people from maybe to help distinguish it from the Black Cayman, but it's the Black Junior. It's supposed to be a young Black Cayman. I've never heard of a young Black Cayman having this, so I just say get rid of it. Because the sounds and size, these would already be distinct enough. Because it's bigger than the spectacle, but it's not as big as the Black Cayman. And the fact that it can also, unlike the Black Cayman, if I go to land here, it doesn't belly crawl, it walks like this. Which, this is how the Black Cayman should still walk. So would the alligator. And also run like this. Though, make the Orinoco gallop. Because they can get. Alligators can't. Caimans and alligators can't. And, well, gharials can't even walk. They have to belly crawl everywhere because their limbs are too stubby. Oh, what the? So yeah, that should be a thing. So if that's the color, the alligator would also have 2 different skins, or you could have 3 different skins. Would have a few different color patterns for default, like the black caiman does. And like with the black caiman having that light gray on the jaw, alligator would have that too, but only on the black part of the jaw. And also it would run down the body. No black. Then we can make that gray stripe at the back of right around the middle of the jaw. Right around where this area, the area under at the eyes, at the main part of the head in front of behind the snout. This area, on both sides would be black. Again, that no shade, and none of that like gray shading on the sides. And then one without that either. And also, it wouldn't have any of these stripes. I have not found any pictures that show alligators having stripes. So it would remain stripeless, except for having that one little weird long stripe of gray. That sort of blending thing that the default one has, since most pictures of alligators I've seen, and the 2 alligators that I have recently seen in real life, have it. Some alligators don't, some do. Some have that black one, or dark gray, or gray one. Actually, so it'd just be like the same color as the skin. Or maybe even yeah, I don't think it's black. Yeah, it's just a dark gray. It's the same color as the alligator. And then there's one that's just like this that doesn't have it, and also pretend the stripes aren't there. And then also, so keep it down going under the tail like this guy does. But some other things as well, I would say, depending on how long this guy is, not the big guys. But let's pretend this is the regular black caiman, so 11 and a half to 13 feet. Both are around mostly 12, probably by just looking at the average lengths of the lowest average length for black caimans being 11 and a half, and the American alligator being 11 feet, and the largest averages being 13. We're gonna go with, let's say this guy should be, I'm gonna say most would be around 12 feet for the both of them, so meaning their average size is gonna be about 12 foot. But the alligator will have a few changes to the model. One, I may be wrong, but either the skull should be the same width, though from picture. Let's actually see. Let's try and see if we can get some images of a caiman skull. If it would load. No. Yeah, this guy. So let's see about its skull. Okay, I don't think that's a black caiman. That looks more like its color. Look at this guy. Very similar. That's a black caiman. Okay, will you clear up, please? Hello? There we go. Yeah, that's more like that typical caiman snout. Sort of more veering in before going to the ears shape. Our guy over here seems pretty similar to the average caiman snout. Varying in a little bit more than the alligator, but not really too big of a difference. In fact, speaking of caimans, there we go. That's what the black caiman should probably look like. Except his head might need to be black. Actually, this guy might be a juvenile. Yeah, I picked that guy a juvenile, meaning that actual little spot, meaning good job, developers, you actually made it accurate. Oh, what's this? This is interesting. Yeah, seems like the same. So, continuing, looking, okay. There's a black caiman. Might be a black caiman. That's a black caiman. Probably, most likely is a black caiman. Yeah, similar snout. Generally, and for some reason, it seems like the black caimans have a very interesting snout. Like, it's basically the alligator snout, but then it kind of, like, looks like it dips in. So then at the fourth lower incisor, like a crocodile's, and then stays a little bit thinner. Dips in, sort of. Kind of making it look like a little bit more of a hybrid between the two. Speaking of our alligators, there's our alligator. So, pretty much as wide as the rear of the skull. We can sort of see how the back of the skull, though, where the head, with the, like, main part of the head is wider, so it kind of dips in before going into the snout. So it dips in, and then we get to the snout, where it dips in, where then it goes to that U shape. Where we see here, we can see that the black caiman kind of keeps that going in all the way. Like it's slow, like it benches out, like it closes out, and then curls back in. So that's basically what I'm seeing. Though I may be wrong, so I think, so one change to the, so the alligator would have, well, 1, smaller eyes, and 2, would have smaller eyes, but no, don't get rid of that forehead. That kind of goes with the model. Oh, look at that cute little guy. Shame they don't stay that way. Before they become this handsome man. Now that's a big guy. So, going back into the... Actually, wait a minute. Okay, no, that's a black caiman. First, you're gonna he's just a bulkier black caiman. He's just a bit of a chunky boy. Which, leads... So that can't... What the hell? What? Okay, don't know what just happened there. Hey. That looks kind of like... Actually, no, that's a black caiman. So, yeah. With the American... So, skull looks like it should either be probably the same size or maybe wider. Or what? So, on terms of the skull, the head shape should be similar. Either the snout should be just as wide as the black caiman's, or the alligator should have a slightly wider snout. Which may result in more damage, but maybe not. Also, last time I said that they had more slender teeth, which... actually, I may have said that. If I did, then I'm sorry, because I looked further into it, and it turns out... Yeah, that's not really... most likely not true. Longer teeth, yes, but thinner teeth, no. And longer teeth is also more for things like the spectacled caiman. I haven't seen any on the black caiman, which, of course, the spectacled caiman, because it's more of a fish eater. Which is why it doesn't follow that, which is why it has a little bit more of a narrow snout, U-shaped, than that classic broad, which another thing. The shape, yeah, that's a thing, but the broadness does not help. Does not change. So that's where I'm saying alligator may have a slightly stronger bite force. Hit force based on how the snout looks like it may be a bit wider. But I would also like to point out, even if it is a bit wider, it probably isn't that. It's not like probably the resulting bite force would not be very much of a difference. It would not be too huge of a difference. So in a fight, it wouldn't make too much a difference. But the American alligator would have a stronger bite. Or maybe not. I'm not 100% sure, but it does. But follow this rule. Whether it be, and it doesn't matter on the shape of the snout. So whether the snout is V-shaped or U-shaped, whether it be the crocodile V-shaped, or the alligator's U-shaped, a narrow snout is better for speed, but a broader snout is better for strength. Which for apex predators like the alligator, American alligator, black caiman, saltwater crocodile, and the crocodile that has the broadest snout of all the crocodiles, mugger crocodiles, they're apex predators, so it works for them. Of course, yeah, mugger crocodiles may live in the same. If you know your crocodilians, you'll know that the mugger crocodile lives in the same range as lives within the salties range, but they're more inland, and the salties being more coastal. And this also kind of goes for American crocs and Nile crocs as well, but not as much. And the Orinoco, yeah, it starts out narrow and then it gets broader as it ages and becomes an adult, but it's still not like a broad snout. So yeah, the American alligator would probably have a slightly broader snout. Would have a little bit of a broader snout than this guy would. And also, speaking of that fatty we saw, that brings it up. I was wondering if that was an actual alligator, if that may have actually been an alligator, but no, it's actually a black caiman. I was wondering that because, well, here's another thing between the two. Well, the American alligator is generally more of a bulkier crocodilian species. And the black caiman being a more lengthier and slender one, which is how we see largest alligators being 15 feet, and well, how largest black caimans being 16 feet. Now you may be saying, well, wait, black caimans can get up to 20 feet. I would like to point out that, well, yes, there are reportings of 18-plus foot black caimans. They're not confirmed, so I will not use them. Without making it explicitly clear that they are only speculation. Which is just like with the American alligator. We have no clear idea. Modern-day American alligators definitely most likely cannot get up to 18 feet. But there's some nice physical photographical evidence that there is at least one alligator in the past, during the hunting of the alligator, that they used to potentially get that big, of about one that was around 18 feet. So thus the 19-footer and maybe a 20-footer could have existed as well. But the 18-footer is the one that has the best evidence, as it has photographical evidence. But, as we have not seen an individual that big, it's still not official. It's not official, but it is potential that they used to. I would not be surprised because, well, it was the largest ones being hunted, which is why 14 and 15 footers, especially the 15 footers, are so rare. But the fact that the American alligator is a bulkier species actually means that if we took let's say a 13-foot black caiman and a 13-foot American gator, the gator would actually be somewhere around generally 735 pounds. Of course, that's not always the rule. There was a 13-footer who decided to look. There was one Pacific 13-foot male alligator who decided to become a pancake and weigh over 1,000 pounds. And actually was almost 1,100 pounds, despite only being a 13-footer, because I guess he wanted to identify as a pancake. Don't know why you'd want to do that, though. I don't even think he knows what a pancake is in the first place. But generally, a 13-foot American gator is going to be around 735 pounds. I would put up any evidence on screen, but I don't know how to do that without having to leave this constantly, which would probably get annoying for everybody involved. But there isn't also, sorry for the pause. I was distracted because I'm trying to find food. As you can see, I'm hungry. In the game, I'm hungry. So sorry about that. But, well, how heavy is a 13-foot black caiman? It's gonna be around 660 pounds. Which, of course, is because the American alligator is a bulkier species than the black caiman. So, well, yeah, I'm not debating that the black caiman is the largest member of the Alligatoridae family, and is, well, one of the largest crocodilians. I am, however, not arguing that it's not, because, well, one, we have 16-footer black caimans who are 1,100 pounds, and which is why. But if we both had 15-foot but if the black caiman's maximum length was 15 foot and verifiable record keeping, then the American alligator won scientifically, because mass, or in layman's terms, weight equals size. So the American alligator would be heavier. There's more animal there, even if they are only of the same length. Again, as we saw, the average American alligator of about 13 feet, he would be around 735 pounds, while the black caiman at 13 feet would only be 660. So, I can't do the math in my head, but it's something like, let me do it in the math, about 70, I think it's about a 70-pound difference, because my brain does know that 6 plus 7 equals 13. So I think it's gonna probably be about a 70-pound difference. Yes, 75 pounds, because 660... Yeah, if you know how to math, you know how to math, but my brain is not functioning correctly. Maybe it's because I'm hungry. Probably because I'm hungry. Also, sorry about no boyfriend video. I'll get that later this week. Also, sorry about the poor mic quality. I hate it myself. It sounds nothing like what I do in real life. But I'm back to what I came to discuss. So, yeah, in the model, since the American alligator is a bulkier species, we allowed to allow a little more difference. The side bits over here, between their legs, we add a bit of bulk. And some bulk. And I know because, well, right here you have angled blocks. So, while this is more of a cubicle game, we got squares, so you can add some squares. I'm not asking it to be like a pancake, but from some noticeable, not subtle, but not too big. I just want it to be, like, noticeable bulk. well, that's big enough to, that's noticeable. A decent bit of bulk. Looks so that it's not too hard to see, but it's not extremely big. So just a decent amount of bulk to the side, so that there's a noticeable amount of bulk between the two. And that's really it. Also, I'd keep the tail the same length. And also, the American alligator would get its own things, but the final thing is, well, last time I said there is very little chance that the American alligator will get added. And probably, and really doesn't need to be, and, well, doesn't really have a good reason to. Well, I still stand by that. The American alligator doesn't really need to be added. Don't expect it to be. But, if it was to be added, there is a good reason why it would be added if the developers decided to add it. Which, well, that's the real part that sort of becomes kind of educational, kind of not. Still talking about a game, but if you didn't know, so let me go real quick into the caimans. So there are a few different species of caiman. It's both in the caiman genus and out of the caiman genus, but still part of Caimanae. So of course you got the black caiman, and then you also got the dwarf caiman, which is also in the game, and then the spectre, and then and then the medium-sized caimans. So there are actually two different species of dwarf caimans, and my 44-pound maximum estimate of the dwarf caiman for the smooth-fronted dwarf caiman, yeah, that's accurate, because it gets a lot bigger than still small, but much bigger compared to Cuvier's dwarf caiman, who is particularly tiny. He's only getting up to 5.5 foot. Well, 5'6". Just a tad bit over 5.5 foot. So, not really. And about 15 pounds. While the Cuvier's cousin, the smooth-fronted, is gonna get up to a little over 8.5 feet and 44 pounds. We're about the same size as really, really large dwarf crocodiles who live in Africa. And I got to see one because I went to Clyde. Up in here in Pennsylvania, we got Clyde's Peeling Reptile Land. I got to see 3 baby Niles, 11 and 3 alligators, including an albino female, and, well, then a larger male and female. Who, well, yeah, the male was big, but, he was only about 11.5 feet, which is, well, about average. Which is within the average. Though he was 600 to 800 pounds. I would be surprised if he's 800 pounds. They don't exactly know, because the person there stated, who was feeding at the feeding time, stated that, well, he doesn't really cooperate to get on the scale, which, he's an alligator. Don't really expect him to cooperate too well. Oh, but considering he's only 11.5 feet, and he wasn't really that, which I was actually correct, which is actually kind of means that I might be a good estimator, because 600-pound, 11.5-foot alligator? That's a fat man. He should only be probably around 550 pounds. Since 11-foot alligator is going to be about 500 pounds, 12-foot's going to be 600 pounds, so only to be 11.5 feet, and potentially 600 pounds plus. That's got to be one big that's one bulky boy. Which he definitely was bulky. In fact, I got pictures of him. And I would like to point out a bulkier also. If you got Instagram, he'll be waiting for you. So there he is, the one up here. That's his girl. His name's Rocky. But you could see that he's definitely a bulky boy. He's a big boy. Also, there we go. Yep, you want to see? Yep, that's about how much bulk I would say would be good for the alligator. So make it something kind of like that. And then here's a better picture of Rocker. And a more frontal picture of him. Yep, man, that's a big boy. Also, the girl up there is about 9 feet, 300 pounds. Is about 9 feet, 280 some pounds, and around 280 pounds, which, yep, that's about the size of an alligator I would expect from that. So this is, yeah, that's the 11.5-foot male, and he's about 600 pounds according to most likely closer to 600 pounds. Yeah, he's definitely a bulky boy. He's not really that overly bulky. There's a better side view of him. He's definitely a bulky boy, but I wouldn't say he's 800 pounds bulky. But what I'm really having a fun time with is the fact that I actually got his length correct. I was saying it because I was thinking that he was probably around 11 to 12 feet. He's expecting him to probably be a little bit shorter than he may look because of him being bulkier, and well, I was correct. So that's fun to know. So good to know I'm good at guessing alligator lengths. What a useful fact. What a useful fact that I can use in a state where alligators don't exist. Maybe I should move back down to Florida. If you didn't know, I was born in Florida and then moved up to Pennsylvania when I was 5 in 2015. Because alcoholism is not good. So I'm going to try and wrap up the video before this video is another 30 to 40 minute long video. Because I've been farting out some really long videos. Of course, my normal lengths of videos, which, remember, I'm 14, so might be a bloody miracle for some of you hearing, especially if you're in the older generation watching this. Hi, I'm 14, and well, my typical length of video is about 15 to 20 minutes. My preferred length of videos. Of course, mine don't really have much of a time, especially the War Thunder, because I just played 3 or so games, which I'll give you guys a 4th, maybe 5th game next week. Since you haven't had a War Thunder video in a while, so I'll give you a treat. Get you a really nice long video. But yeah. Yep, and there we go, confirmed. And they don't even have it, which is actually pretty much accurate. Yeah, good job. So yeah, slightly wider skull, smaller eyes, a little bit more bulkier, and then with smaller eyes and the same color, and make the black came in a darker gray. That's about what. But okay, back into the thing. So the American. So then we also got the medium-sized caimans, which got the broad-snouted caimans, who's got a short, broad snout. And then the Akari caiman, which I don't really know too much about him. And then the one that I'm gonna be talking about, the spectacled caiman, which is in the game. He's the one with the broader snout and the little 2 things between his eyes that look like spectacled glasses. So while I'm talking about it, I'll play the spectacled caiman. But this is what I think the American alligator would be. So the first bit of its bio is just your typical bio in the game, just describing the actual thing, and sort of it's like what the game, sort of like what it's about. So like this one, just giving some nice information about the animal. Also, I like how they have the Yakari Cayman and the Aporus. I don't know if the Aporus actually exists. I think it may, but I don't know if it's confirmed to be separate. So yeah. So what do I want to talk? Well, I only said half of the bio of the alligator would actually be the description of the animal. Animal that follows like what it eats, what its diet is, and like what its role is. Which this would result in it having a bit longer of a bio than a lot of, if not all, the other animals in the game, and because the other half of the bio relates to the spectacled caimans, which if you know about crocodilians, or if you're or know about the Everglades in general, you'll know that that there are a lot of invasive species, most notably the Burmese python. But, if you have a functioning brain, you will have already detected with all the clues that you have probably been detecting with your usable and functional brains. Means that the second half of the American alligator's bio would be talking about the invasive group or invasive population of spectacled caimans that entered the Everglades through the pet trade, and being released illegally. And while they're not really that much of a problem, because the American alligator is basically just the black cat. Is not too much different from the black caiman that the spectacled caiman really affects it, especially with the spectacled caiman occupying a different niche. In fact, the American alligators are acting like population control for these guys, which is basically what they are doing as well. I think they do deserve the name of the King of the Everglades. It's only just like how the black caiman deserves the name of King of the Amazon. And not the jaguar. Though both the American and Orinoco crocodiles would like to have a talk. Which actually, there again, the American crocodile doesn't really bother much with the American alligator. So, but back on topic, and also what I mean by bother is that the American alligator and American crocodile live in peace. And in fact, I heard somewhere, I don't know if this is true, but supposedly American crocodiles in the Everglades are actually most of the time on the smaller side than other American crocodiles that don't deal in areas that don't live with the American alligator. Maybe this is because the American alligator is just better than these. It's just competing with the American crocodiles, getting them smaller. And also would like to know, back on the bulk, actually I found out that American alligators actually have a similar growth rate to the Nile crocodile. Both are more generally bulkier species. And also so is the saltwater crocodile. They are all pretty much bulkier crocodilians. Actually, when compared to like caimans, they're more slender. They're lanky. But yeah, that'd be the other half, talking about and allowing people to know for a fun Game Pass an animal they can play. Allow people to, and still sort of tie itself into the game. Allow people tie itself into the game with having actual purpose than other than just being a cool, fun Game Pass exotic animal you can play. But because it actually serves the purpose of letting people know about the invasive population, of spectacled caimans that live in the Amazon. Yes, they live in the an invasive group of spectacled caimans that live in the Amazon. Yes. Yeah, they're totally from the Everglades. The invasive group of spectacled caimans in the Everglades. So, kind of is a nice homage and reference to that, as also the American alligator would then become an in the game would be, well, invasive to the Amazon in the game. So, yeah, kind of getting some virtual payback. So, yeah, that's gonna be it. Goodbye and have a great day.